disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Welcome once again to another episode of Fifth Kicks and Flicks, the podcast about martial arts, movies, and life. I am one of your hosts, Eugene Plowden, and with me as always, one of my podcast partners, Joe Hartley. What's up, man?
What's going on?
This is the first time with us. We are members of the Martial Arts Center Network. On Tuesdays, you got the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. Thursdays is Fifth Kicks and Flicks with Gene, Joe, and Angel. Once a month, we have Extra Scoop with Peyton and Jeff, and I think twice a month, we got the Traditional Way with Brett Shumway. For more information, you can check us out on all of our social media platforms. Just look for the Martial Arts Center Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Joe, it's showtime. What's going on, man?
Just same old little daily grind with the kids, getting into the football season, some ups and downs with my fantasy football teams. Michigan finally looked good on both sides of the ball for once, so I was happy about that.
Yeah, I didn't even see the game. I didn't even see
the game. You know what? I did the same thing. So, I'm on my way home leaving work because I'm at work by the time most of the game happens. And a lot of times I'll just throw it on and see how they're doing. I got in the car and go 28-3. Oh, we found some offense. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. So I was happy about that. Let's hope they can keep it going.
I kind of have a hard time really getting into, at the beginning of the year when they had their first 3 or 4 games. Because a lot of times their schedule isn't the best at the beginning of the year. It's almost like watching, Lions preseason.
Yeah.
Michigan State played Prairie View. It's like, I don't want to see that. They should win those type of games.
Yeah,
they hit us. Michigan played
Texas. With Texas right at the second game.
Yeah. So, but I already knew this was going to be a rough season for Michigan. I knew it last year, so that's why I was really hoping they won last year because I knew this season was going to be rough. Yeah. So with them, of course, they were going to lose their quarterback. They were going to lose their number one running back. Both of those 2 guys were going to be gone at the end of last year. I knew that, so I knew this was going to be almost like a rebuilding year. So I'm not really expecting them to do much this year. So it is what. And now we got a first-time head coach, even though he coached majority of the games last year, but still he wasn't the head coach last year. So
I was gonna say, that was still Harbaugh's
team. yeah, exactly. So go ahead, man.
No, it's good. Lions are still figuring it out, but I keep trying. Everyone's all like, "Oh, Lions suck this year," and I'm like, they did this last year. They came out on fire. They lost the second game by just a little bit. And then they had 8 games in a row. They were fine, except for, I think, the Ravens. So this is what they do, man. They start a little cold and they work their way up. They'll be fine.
Yeah, and a lot of the teams that people thought were going to be good have lost a game. I think 49ers lost, Philadelphia lost, Baltimore has lost. So
Baltimore's 0-2.
Yeah, so it's just you just never know, man. That's one of the good things I like about the NFL, because you don't really get that in basketball. If a team is good, they're going to be good the next year. Pretty much, they add to that team. The only time they really go down is when their superstar leaves, for the most part.
Yep. Or if they got some bad injuries.
Yeah. So a little bit more unpredictable in the NFL.
The girls had homecoming over the weekend, and that was
kind of early, isn't it?
I said the same thing. I was kind of thinking the same thing, but yeah. So we went to the game, which, oh man, when I say they're the Northern football team, it's just awful. Mm. I've been to 2 home games, and we leave at the halftime because Layla comes out at halftime, does her thing, and then we can go. And the first game, they were down at halftime, 42-0. And then this game, it was 35-0 at halftime. And I mean, every time this team gets a little momentum, on defense or offense, something dumb happens, like a fumble in the end zone,
Mm-hmm.
Or the other day it was like, and this is high school.
Right.
They were at like 4th and 36, and they threw a 45-yard pass and hit it. That's what I said.
Wait. Hold on. I don't think I processed that right. Did you say 4th and 36?
Yes.
And they threw a 45-yard pass?
In high school, you're supposed to just run that, get some yardage, and kick the punt. And this team just said, "Meh, let's just see what happens."
They did not worry about the defense at all. They had no respect for them.
No, I was like, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh my God. I said, I looked at my wife and I said, can I play fantasy high school football? Because any team that's playing our team, I want all of their players. Like, and like I said, they got a new coach this year. They got some players, but the other thing that's bugging me out is like my school and my wife, both Walled Lake schools, Central and Western, like the whole team had some big guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Northern only has like 3 or 4 like guys that are like over 200 pounds on the offense or defense.
Wow.
And I'm looking like going like, yeah, I'm like, is that how it is? Because I was looking at the other team. They didn't really have a whole lot of big guys either.
Mm.
So is this just a new era of kids or something? Because I'm saying like our linebackers, like I wrestled with half the team, and our linebackers and our center and our nose guards, they were all 250 easy, 6 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just thinking like maybe that's the bigger issue. Like they just need a little bit of some big boy action on there. And I was like, because yeah, man, one of our top guys wrestled at 245. The first year I wrestled, and like he was, that dude was unstoppable. He'd be pushing people out of the way for the running back and all that stuff. So I was just trying to figure out, like, I felt bad for these kids, man. Like, you can't that's got to be demoralizing to every game. Like, if they score 1 touchdown, they'd be happy because, like, I haven't seen it yet, and I've been to 3 games, and I'm like, man,
you're going to be cheering too. You're going to be cheering too.
Man, I'm just there to see my daughter. That's it. Like, I try to enjoy the football, but it's hard to watch that, man. It's really bad. And homecoming sounded fun. Yeah.
When you leave at halftime, does your daughter go with you, or does she want to stay and watch the rest of the team?
I wish. No, she has to stay with her team because they play during like timeouts and stuff. Yeah, they play little, something maybe to get people going, and they got cheerleading, and yeah, they got to stay in for the whole thing. And then a lot of times she'll go out to dinner afterwards. A lot of those games she don't come home till like 11:30.
Oh wow, you were talking that whole time.
Oh, you didn't hear me?
No, you blanked out. I said, "Oh no," because I thought your system went down again, but maybe it was mine.
I hope not. If they, it'd be a wrap after that because I'm done. Yeah,
no, I think it's mine. I think it's mine.
She'll stay for the game, and then her section leader is really nice, and she's an upperclassman, and she drives, so they'll drive over to someone else's house and have dinner, play games, or they'll go like to a restaurant, and like a baseball team goes after and celebrates or goes and gets some ice cream and stuff. So her section leader makes sure that everybody gets a chance to go. She'll loan some money to people if they forgot their wallet, and then you hit her back the next day. It's really cool. I gotta say, it's been really good because Layla is my she's the one that like she at school she doesn't really come out of her shell that much.
Mm-hmm.
So she needs like she's a really like fun, happy-go-lucky person at home, but at school she's kind of reserved and to herself. And I think this is really, she's making some real good friends, and she's meeting some new people, and it's really helping her just to kind of find some other people to be around. And she had a nice, good group for homecoming, even though the girl's house she was going to stay after got them kicked out because she got into a fight.
The girl or your daughter got into the fight?
No, it was the girl there was 4 girls in that group, and they were going to stay at this other girl's house. And that the house they were going to stay at that girl got into a fight.
Oh, okay, I got you. So okay.
But I think the more I hear about it, it sounds like she didn't start it. It came
Okay.
to her.
Okay.
So it's all ridiculous. I think it was over a boy or some dumb crap. But so yeah. So and the funny thing is, my oldest is the one that informed us first at about 10 o'clock, 10:30. She's like, I think Layla's friend just got into a fight. And I go, well, where's Layla? And she's like, I don't know. So then we're talking to Layla, and she's like, oh, I don't know. We're in the car right now. I'm like, you're in the car with her mom? She's like, yeah. I'm like, she's like, and her mom's pissed. I'm like, yeah, because when I dropped her off at the restaurant, the mom was there, so I met her for the first time, and she literally goes, I told all of them, don't do anything to get kicked out. Like, I'm like, wait a second, what did you know that I don't know? That's what I told her. I was like, what do you know that I don't know? She's like, no, I'm just saying, I don't want them dancing all crazy or being this and that. But I'm like, she knew something.
Okay.
Because she said that and then it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, no. I told Layla, I'm like, you need to find some new friends. That's too much crazy. I've been doing a bunch of school dances. I've never been had anything like that happen. But you know the other thing that's weird?
What's
so
up?
I don't know if they do their dances out on the football field.
Yeah, that's weird. Normally it would be in a gym or something, right?
Thank you. Or the cafeteria.
yeah, cafeteria, something like that.
So I was just thinking, is this a new thing? They go over the PA system and they all come out there, but then the number one thing, they don't want to mess up the turf. So none of these, they're telling all the girls that you can't wear heels. I'm like, isn't that the whole point of going out?
Just put it in the
and
gym.
Dressing up?
Just put it in the gym or cafeteria or something like that. I've never heard about outside party.
If I know a couple of the PTA, I'm just curious to why they do it that way. There's got to be a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So other than that, man, everyone had a good time. Everyone survived. We saw my mom over the weekend. She's getting ready to go to Italy right in the beginning of March. And end of February, beginning of March. So she's trying to get all set for that.
Okay.
I think it's only the second time she's been out of the country. First time in a while. It's probably been 15 years or so.
Is she going with friends?
It's my two aunts by marriage.
Okay.
So both of my dad's brothers, it's their wives want to go. Both of them have been before. My mom's never been, so I think it'll be good for her.
How long
but
is that
she's just
flight?
letting she's letting little things kind of stress her out. The flight, I looked it up the other day. I think it's 9 hours. Yeah, tell me about it.
I don't know if I can. I don't think I'm ever going to go to Europe, so I don't know if I can do a flight that long. I really don't, man. Yeah, and honestly, man.
Gene.
Yeah.
Just go take a late flight. Pop a volume or something. You go right to bed. You wake up. Make sure you take someone you could trust to wake you up, or pay someone $20 or something. Make sure they wake you up.
Oh, I definitely would go by myself.
You get there, you be fine. I try to think of the longest plane ride I've ever been on, and I don't think it's been over 4 or 5 hours. So
no, mine's definitely haven't. I've been to Seattle, I've been to California, so in Vegas. So, but yeah, it's about 4 or 5 hours going out that way. But I think that's about it. I haven't been on a plane longer than that. And after that 5 hours, I'm ready to get up, man. My knees hurt. I need to stretch my legs. It's not comfortable. I already don't like flying. So when I start thinking about, flying over to another country in Europe, to me, honestly, I really don't care about other countries. Like to see other countries just to go visit. Now, if there was some reason for me to go over there, some type of event or something. So let's say, we're doing a Martial Arts Center Network festival or something like that, or there's some type of reason for me to go over there, that's fine. But I really don't care to go over there for anything. I have no reason. And then you see sometimes, and I'm not talking about Europe, but sometimes people go to these other countries and they get in trouble or they get kidnapped and all types of stuff where, they do something that is normal in our customs, but not normal in somebody else's customs. And next thing you know, you're arrested. I don't know the rules in these other countries, and I really don't care to learn their rules, So
No, I hear you on that. The thing is, I think some of these places you can go, like you get a pamphlet on like what to do and what not to do. If it's that serious, yeah, I'm with you. I'm probably not going, but there are some places like we're talking about doing Germany in a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter she's really into the German culture. She's taking German at school. She's doing really well with that. They have a trip, I think, next year, maybe this year. I can't remember. And then they got German exchange students here right now. So she wants to get into all that. I really like a lot of the Japanese culture. So I would probably, my brother-in-law just got back from there and my aunt just got back from there. And it really like all their pictures and what they talked about. It sounds like it'd be a fun thing to do if I could pull it off, but I don't have time for that right now.
I think the only place that me and Melissa might be interested in is I know that she really wants to go to Greece, but she's kind of like me. Like she does not like to fly. I do better on a flight than she does. So if you're talking about me popping the volume, I mean, she's going to have to do that also. We both can't be knocked out.
No.
That's not going to work.
One of you has to be coherent.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, man. I don't know because we talked about going to Hawaii for the honeymoon, and from LA to one of the islands was like a 6-hour flight, and she just looked at me and said, "No,
we're good.
I'm not, and it's expensive going to Hawaii also." So we were doing the math and everything, and it's like I was asking people, okay, what is it to really do? And it sounds like it's more like a relaxation place. And we like to get out and sightsee and do this, that, and the other. And it didn't sound like there were a lot of sightseeing like type of places to go. So we made the decision to go to Miami instead, and we had a good time when we went down there. So we don't regret anything. So.
Oh, that's good though. That's real good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's all I got for now, man. It's just
all right.
For me, it's just literally work, and then I got a list of it has to be in my phone or written down for me because I'll forget somebody somewhere, and I think I'm worried about that every time. I don't want to forget somebody.
Man, I am like that too. I feel your pain, man. I got so much stuff going on, man. I'm literally having to write stuff down now because I'll forget if I don't have it written down. I'm definitely gonna forget. So I've been putting stuff in my phone. So
my son, so I told you my daughter's school does a play and then the musical, and my son's does the opposite. So they're doing the musical. My daughter got a part. She got the narrator for it's a Dungeons and Dragons type of play.
Okay.
So I think she basically got like the third highest role. So it was pretty good. She was excited. It's a lot of she gets 11 lines, but they're paragraph lines. So she opens and closes the show. She was excited about that. And I'm happy for her. She deserves that. She's been working hard. And Aiden just tried out for the Lion King, and he was looking to do Pumbaa, and his buddy wants to be Timon. So it sounded like his audition went well. He'll find out Friday. Yeah, he'll find out on Friday.
Okay.
So
have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons?
A long, long time ago. I prefer like stuff I can add. My imagination is not good enough to play Dungeons and Dragons. Like I like the concept, and I like those kind of video games. But Dungeons and Dragons, rolling dice, and I mean, you could play that game for like 6 days, and not.
I've never played it, man. I never played it, and I grew up in the '80s, and in the '80s, it was a big thing going on that Dungeons and Dragons was devil worshiping. So parents didn't really let us play those type of games back then because it was like one of those things, like it was on the news, like stuff come out on the news. Your parents overreact to certain things, and you're not doing it. Did
you watch Stranger Things?
I I saw the first season, and I
Oh,
saw like maybe like 1 through episodes 5. I never finished. I
so
got busy doing other stuff, so I never finished watching.
the last season they did exactly that. They covered that.
Oh, they did. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I remember
so
that, man. I remember doing that.
there was a group, and the guy running the group got blamed for murdering a girl, who, by the way, was murdered by a demon.
Okay.
So, and I won't ruin it for you, but the way she
Mhm,
was murdered, she wasn't like it wasn't something that a human could do.
mhm.
And so they're blaming this
Game.
Dungeons and Dragons cult, and the leader of the cult is a high school kid, maybe a senior. And yeah, so they're blaming him, and everybody's going. It's the dumbest thing, but I didn't realize that was a real thing until you just said it. So
Yeah,
now it
man.
makes more sense.
That was the
Now it
thing
makes
back in the
more
80s.
sense.
Yeah, that was the thing in
Yeah,
the 80s, and also with Voltron, there was a thing about Voltron, and they were talking about the something was wrong with the paint. So all of a sudden it's on the news that this paint is supposedly bad, so everybody loses their Voltron toys. And I had Voltron also. I had
yeah.
all the lions, and my mom took it away from us because she saw it on the news, man. I was just like, wow, really?
The news ruins everything.
Yeah,
All right,
so
so how you been, man?
man, everything it's been all right, man. It's just really getting into the swing of things, man. I'm been telling Melissa we need to start that holiday shopping. Because the holidays are going to be up on us really, really quick, man. So, but at the same time, we're still doing renovations on the house. But over the weekend, man, I went to a tournament. So I went to the Ultimate Warrior Challenge in Battle Creek, Michigan, the Prames event, and I'm gonna be careful what I say, okay? Because you and I have both had that phone call from Up before, so I'm not trying to get no phone calls, in case he listens
Yeah,
to
for
this
sure.
podcast and hear this. So I had a little situation with one of the judges. And basically, I think I was a little bit more so upset because me and this judge have bumped heads over the last few years, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So, and it's always over equipment, sparring equipment, right? So I think the first time this judge had two of my students fighting each other in the first round. Even though they have the same uniform on, you would think they're gonna, keep them separated. And the division had started by the time I found out, so it was nothing they could do. So, I just let the kids fight each other. One won, one didn't. The next event, one of my students did not have the same kid. He didn't have shin guards on, right? Now I never knew that was a thing. Like I know, of course, we got to have hand pads, feet pad, headgear, mouthpiece, all the normal stuff. But I never
Shin
remember
guards
shin
is
guards.
new. Shin guards is very new.
Yeah,
And elbow
so
pads too, because I didn't have to do elbow, and I never did. I
no,
never
I didn't
liked them,
either.
but I wore shin guards because I'm a kicker, and
Mm-hmm.
when people kick at a kicker,
Yes,
they're
yes,
always hitting your shin.
yeah. And I have my own shin guards also, but I didn't know that it was mandatory. That was
Yeah,
never
that's newer.
that
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
a
newer
mandatory thing,
in the last
So
few years.
right. So end up getting the kids shin guards, right? Because this person, they decide they almost did not let my kids participate in the event. And I'm like, come on, now. Like, what's happening? So anyway, that's that. Okay, I get it. Another event. This judge is complaining because I had the old school, gloves for the kids, with
Yeah,
the fingers out, and they're not about to let my students compete because they have these gloves on. So I'm looking around and I see other rings. Like, come on, like you got to do that for tournament wide. Like you can't. In if that is the rule, I get it. If that's the rule, but you can't just pick and choose when we're going to enforce
yeah.
these particular rules. I wanted to have the closed finger gloves, and fine. So they mentioned it to me, and I'm like, well, there's other people in this division that have these the fingers out gloves or whatever, and other rings. So they went ahead and they just we were able to get past that, right? Another tournament happened again, same thing, but it wasn't with this particular judge, it was with another judge. I said, okay, cool. If you guys are going to make that a rule, we need to make sure that everybody knows all the time, right? We can't like the previous term. We can't just pick and choose. I reached out to my uncle and asked him, like, okay, like if this is a thing, then it needs to be known and needs to be enforced at every single tournament and every single ring, right? Boom. Okay, cool. The next event, this particular judge is not about to let one of my students compete because they have glasses on. Now I tell the judge, well, this girl, she can't fight without her glasses because she can't see, you know. And it's not like we can go grab some goggles anywhere because it has to be prescription, you know. So her dad said it was okay. I said it's okay. So the judge was like, you know, kind of him and hawing about it. I went and got my uncle. My uncle was the arbitrator, of course. So he said, okay, fine, right? So I said, okay, don't worry about it. I'm going to get you a face shield, right? So this tournament, this had to be a Hades tournament because my student didn't compete at my uncle's tournament in June. So so now this weekend, same judge, same girl. Now she has the face shield on. This time, the judge is not about to let my kid compete because she didn't have a mouthpiece in her mouth. Now, I normally understand that. But when you have a face shield, I've never heard that you have to have a mouthpiece when you have a face shield. Most of the time, when I've seen a student have a face shield, they don't have a mouthpiece in their mouth. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that?
I haven't really even thought about it, but it makes sense.
I've never seen that before. So, you know, I at that time I just kind of was like, wait a minute. She has this face mask on because of you. You know, and this judge goes, well, eventually she's gonna have to grow out of the face mask anyway as she grows and matures and gets further. I was like, not necessarily. She can't really see without her glasses, and you guys are gonna make an issue about her wearing glasses sparring. I know that, you know, once she gets to adult division, she's not gonna want to wear her glasses and spar. And the judge says, well, she's gonna have to do it anyway. And I said, well, that's not my decision or your decision to make. That's between her and her parents to make. You know, if she gets goggles. She said, she's like, well, she needs to get some goggles. I'm like, you can't just say that, right? Now, so as the division goes on, like this judge is clearly not, they're kind of upset with me at this point in time. I really didn't care. But now you're not really calling points for my student now, right? And now one of the people that my student's fighting against throws a reverse punch to her head, and they called a point. And I said, okay, that's weird. I've never seen that before. Now my student also on the flip side, they didn't fight like they were supposed to fight. They were a little upset about, you know, the previous things that have been going on. So they were a little bothered by it. So I had to talk with her. It's like, hey, you didn't do X, Y, Z. So she ended up losing that fight. And she lost against someone she should not have lost to. She was way better than the student, but the person that she was competing against. But you know, it happens. You know, you complain about one thing, you can't complain about multiple things, right? So then the next time she has to fight for third and fourth, and she's fighting against one of my uncle's students. So my Aunt Deborah is, you know, judging their student, I'm judging mine, right? So the fight is going on, and the score is close. And my aunt says something to her student. The judge says go. So they're bouncing. My aunt says something to the girl that, you know, her student. The girl stops fighting and turns around and looks at my aunt. And my student runs up and scores a point. Now, I guess the judge said stop. I didn't hear her say stop. But then she gets in the kid's face and said, when I say stop, you say stop. And I'm like, well, thinking like, what the hell is going on? Like, if a person is fighting and they turn around, you have the ability to go get that point if that person stops. You don't have the right to stop a student. And in a tournament, when people are round the ring, screaming, making noise, this, that, and the other, it's not like that judge is right there in the middle to break them up, you know. So, you know, that happened. So I was a little. That was like the second competitor that I had to compete. So I was pretty much a little bit, upset after that.
Yeah.
So at the event, man, I had one student get second place, and that student that we just talked about, she ended up getting fourth. That was just it for her. And then I had a couple of other students. We just didn't fight well, man. So it was no excuses, man. So it was just a rough day for jump kick on Saturday. They still placed. They still got thirds and fourths, but I'm just not a fan of fourth places at all. That really bothers me, getting a fourth place. So I can't say that to the kids. I can't say that to the kids, but to me, I just was just frustrated, man.
You could tell them it's a good accomplishment, but we want first. That's all. That's what because a lot of people don't understand. Like you said, when you put on that Plowden uniform, man, there's a reputation to uphold. And some people don't understand that. And that's why the Plowden name that's the best.
Yeah.
So that's the mentality.
Yeah. So I told the kids, like, listen, don't get too mad about today. I know we had a rough day today, but you guys are all underbelts. Like, nobody competed with black belts. Everybody were. I had one red belt compete. Everybody else were green belts that competed. Yeah. I'm like, you guys are going to learn, and you're going to take these lessons from today. And when you guys make it to the black belt division, you guys are going to learn from what happened today. So don't let it get you down. Don't be bothered by it. You guys are going to be okay. So, and I talked to Trav.
24 hours.
Yeah.
24 hours for a win, 24 hours for a loss.
Right. And I talked to Trav about it. Also, man, I had to call him. I just had to talk to somebody and vent to him about it. And Trav said the same thing. But, Trav was like, the tournaments now are really, really being cautious because they don't want any kids getting hurt. And, they don't want the commissions to start coming in because, our promoters don't want to, end up paying a commission and it's going to make stuff a little bit more challenging and everything. So, but this is my thing, man. This is what we really need to do. And I know it's not going to happen. And I know everybody always has ideas about tournaments and everything, but I don't understand why any of these organizations, NASCA, MSKC, how come they can't have Century, Asia World, Quan, I don't care. One of these suppliers of martial arts supplies be the martial arts supplier of the circuit. Yep. All right. And then have the gear on the website, and they should have vendors at the event. So if you have a situation where you need a different type of hand pad or foot pad or elbow pad or whatever, you can run over to the table and it's going to be approved and then purchase that and then you have it.
And you cornered the market that way.
Yes, exactly. But that probably makes too much sense to do it, because
there's got to be a reason why it hasn't happened because I feel like it would have happened already.
Yeah, I mean, because the supplier is going to make more money by sponsoring, however many tournaments they're going to sponsor. Yeah. They don't have to. I'm not talking about $20,000 or $30,000 or anything like that, but it could be something, so you can have, presented by Century or whatever. And then that's the gear right there. I mean, this judge was checking the hand pads to make sure that they were under 6 ounces. I even heard her tell somebody else, "Oh, those aren't karate. Those are boxing gloves." I'm like, these are little kids. These are little kids. Like, come on now, come on,
man. Oh man.
Yeah, man. So I was kind of hot. I was kind of frustrated, man. I was just like,
I can imagine.
Sometimes I gotta remember, like, you are Richard Plowden's nephew. You can't explode. You cannot explode in these places,
Oh,
I get a hot head real quick, man.
I'm sure he's had some of his own moments.
He has, but he doesn't have nobody else to answer to. We'll get that text message, that phone call, those conversations, and I don't be want to have those conversations, man. But
it is what it is.
Other than that, man, Melissa's been sick. She hasn't been feeling well this week, so I didn't see Champ. I was going to go over there and spend time with him, but I didn't want to. If I'm feeling fine, I don't have anything wrong with me, but I didn't want to, take whatever bug Melissa has and then take it over to Champ with his mom, and then they get sick, especially with them having asthma. So I didn't get a chance to really see him or hang out with him this weekend. So hopefully this weekend coming up, I will. She's still not feeling good, but hopefully she'll be better. She's been resting a lot and taking care of herself, and I've been doing what I can when I get home from work. So
gotcha. That's good, man. Yeah, we had it run through this house, so we're all getting over it.
Oh yeah, something definitely is going around. So but like I said, I haven't been sick, and I really can't afford to get sick. I can't. I got too much stuff to do.
When it happens, it happens.
Yeah, man. I got too much stuff to do, man. So I got my physical therapy appointment, doctor appointment tomorrow. Hopefully it's the last time. I think I'm about to finally get discharged from that. My ankle is really not hurting now. It just feels kind of stiff a little bit, man. Just a little bit stiff. And if I'm on it too long, I know when I have to sit down. But at least when I come home at the end of the night, I'm not in pain like I was a few weeks ago. That's good. Yeah, so that's good. I think that's pretty much it for me. But let's get into this movie, man. Crank. Now, I think I saw this back in the day. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I did. It came out in 2006.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times when it came out, and then I haven't seen it since. I'm gonna be honest, rewatching this, I thought there was a lot more fighting in it. There's not.
There's none.
There's like two scenes.
I don't remember seeing any hand to hand. Like it was all shooting to me.
Yeah, it was just a couple, like real quick. Something that kind of ticked me off. I was like, I'm trying to think about the second one now. Hopefully, there's a little more. But the second one's it's even more insane than this one.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I am at this movie. I'm gonna say, do you know how many times I got ready to text you WTF? What's going on?
Well, I'll tell you right now.
I stopped myself, man. I stopped myself so many
the second
times.
one. The second one's were. The second one's all over the place.
Now, see, this was my thing. This is my main issue. If you are someone who likes action, you're going to love this movie. But to me, there's no story in this movie at all. And
there's a story. There's a story.
I mean, of course, there's something, but it's not much of a story. It's just one sentence, pretty much. Hey, this person got infected with this particular drug.
It's a run-on sentence. No,
and then that's
no commas, no periods.
I stopped the movie halfway through, right? I paused it because I wanted to see what time it was when they finally told us what the hell was going on. Because when you start watching this movie, it's just action from the beginning of the movie. I didn't know what the hell was going on. They kind of briefly mentioned it. And the next thing you know, this guy is just running all over the place. And I was just like, come on. It just seemed like this was somebody's, pet project that they just had an idea for something and just wanted to put it out. And they knew some people who had some money that could finance it for them. And they just wanted to do it. And that was my impression of it.
I just remember there being fighting in it, and it ticked me off because to me, it would have made it a little better. But I do like the concept. So the idea is you got a hitman, which you don't really know he's a hitman for a while, but he's basically you got a hitman played by Jason Statham. His name's like Chev or something like that.
Yeah,
Chevy. And the part I don't understand is, so the guy that at the beginning who he injects him with the drug. There's a CD waiting for him when he wakes up. He's feeling slow. He's feeling disheveled. He doesn't know what's going on. There's a CD. It says "FU" on it, and it's this what is he, Mexican or something like that? Mexican dude or
something like that.
Yeah, and he's basically saying "FU." He's showing him how he injected him with this some kind of Chinese cocktail, they called it. Mm-hmm. And basically, he says, according to him, you're dead within an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's where right off the bat, this movie falls short. Because somehow, Chevy figures out that if he gets his adrenaline up, it shortens it helps him stay alive for longer.
Mm-hmm.
But how does he figure that out? He has no idea until he talks to his doctor. He has a doctor that tells him what's going on when he tells him what they gave him and what he has to, and the doctor tells him how to prolong his life until because the doctor's not even in wherever they're at, New York or LA or wherever. The doctor's away and he's coming home.
Mm-hmm.
So he's waiting for this doctor so he can hopefully cure him or at least help him figure this out.
See, this was the confusing part though. At the beginning of this movie, the beginning of the movie, like you said, this guy is on DVD and it's telling him, yeah, we stuck you with this syringe and we gave you this Chinese cocktail, and it sounded like it made me believe that the Chinese wanted him dead because he supposedly killed some Chinese guy. And it seemed like this was revenge for killing the Chinese guy. That's what it led me.
That's what they wanted him to think.
Yes, exactly.
The Mexicans wanted, or the cartel wanted him dead. I think that's who these guys were. Their cartel.
So I was wondering, like, well, you're not Chinese. Why did you do it? Why is the Chinese? I was just like, that's confusing. That was confusing me at first.
Yes. Well, and they don't. So it's a lot of it is the whole beginning and kind of middle of this movie is all leading up to this one to figure out what the hell is going on, but they don't tell you. And the idea is basically he gets a job, he gets to the job, he decides in the middle of the job, he doesn't want to be a hitman anymore. He wants to go be with his girlfriend, Eve, played by Amanda Smart, I think her name is. And he wants to quit. So he tells this big Chinese boss this, and then he leaves. Well, apparently the cartel wants him off the board. So that's why they make it look like the Chinese wanted him, which he knows the Chinese don't want him dead because he let the guy go. So he knows that.
Yeah, that. But we don't know any of that at first. But
they took the long way to get there. They took the long way to get there.
Right. And I mentioned on a previous podcast, like, I hate this type of storytelling because the whole time in my head, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And as I'm watching it, more and more things are happening that's not making sense to me. So in my head, I'm not enjoying the movie because I'm trying to figure it out. If they didn't use that as a surprise and had told us what happened at the beginning, I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit better because we would have known the story and what was going on. But to make this a surprise, I was like, that's dumb.
No, and see, I'm okay with that kind of stuff. As long as
I can't do it, man. I think too much, man.
As long as
I'm trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
Because this is how. Now I'll tell you what I didn't like. The way they shoot this movie, it could have been better because what they do is he keeps getting on the phone. And the phone rings really weird because I'm assuming because everything for him is slowing down, that's what we're hearing. Because the phone, when it rings, it kind of rings, but you hear it like it's ringing like in slow motion.
I just assumed that was his ringtone because remember back
I don't
then,
know. Well, if it
ringtones
was, that was stupid. I know, but that you could do a better ringtone. That ringtone was annoying if that's what it was. I assumed it was the way he was hearing it because it sounded like it was in slow motion. It was weird. And he was on that phone the whole time, like talking to who he wanted someone to find Ricky. That's the guy that stuck him. And then he wanted someone to find someone that could find Ricky Verona. And so he's talking to all these other people and he's like, you find this person, this, that. He's figuring out different ways to keep his body going so he can accomplish what he has to accomplish and hopefully find an antidote. So, I mean, he goes and he basically robs a party store and gets all these uppers, anything he can find, energy drinks, pills, sugar, anything, just get him going.
Even cocaine. He went and got some cocaine.
Yeah, but even when he did that, he spilled it on the ground. He should have explained his situation because that's one of the first people he shows up to I don't know the guy's name, but it's basically a drug dealer who knows Ricky and can where to find him.
Everybody knew what happened. It
that
seemed
guy,
like everybody knew what had happened to him,
except for him.
But they all knew. Yeah, you're gonna be dead in an hour.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
But I will say this: this part is funny because when he goes and he gets this guy. Okay, this guy is like the leader, and like he's got his own gang with him. He's got 15 guns.
Guy in the gang?
Yeah, he's got 15 people with him, and he rolls up on dude with a gun, and then tells them to do this. And the guy's telling everyone back off, back off. But then in the end, when he makes him buy the coke, which made me laugh, I'm like, dude, this dude's got a gun to you and could shoot you. He don't care if he's going to die in an hour. Why does he care if the rest of your crew shoots him after he shoots you? You're dead.
Mm-hmm.
He makes him pay for the coke, and then he doesn't even help him with it. He sees that he's struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And so his idea is like, he literally goes, I'm sorry. And then he starts just teeing off on his people.
That didn't make sense. And they all had, why didn't they just, I don't know any gangsters that's going to get beat up and not shoot.
Because he figured out he needed to get his adrenaline going, and that got it. That if that doesn't get it going, I don't know what will.
But they all should have just shot him. Like he shouldn't have. They all had the guns on him already. And
I don't know.
He broke somebody's nose, and they see all.
They felt bad for him. Yeah, they felt bad for him. I guess. I don't know.
That's crazy.
No, that whole scene was nuts. And then, so the next house he goes to seems to be Ricky's boss. He seems like he's the cartel boss.
Yeah, but I thought that was his boss also. That's what I thought.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
So maybe, no, I know what happened. That was his boss. Ricky was supposedly, according to Ricky, he was going to take over for Chevy.
Okay.
That's why all this. Meanwhile, so he's talking to I think the guy's name is Benny. He's going to his house. He's finding out, okay, where are you, Benny? I'm going to come talk to you. You're going to give me Ricky.
And he knew too. He knew what happened.
Yes. Meanwhile, he's got 6 cops behind him trying to pull him over. So what does he do? He drives through a mall and with his car.
Yeah. I like all of this crazy stuff that happens in this movie. This unrealistic stuff just had me rolling my eyes, man. That's what took me out of the movie. Like all of this unbelievable stuff that happened in this movie. Because he's not a superhero.
You know what's funny about that part though? The cops follow him because most of them are on motorcycles. They follow him into the mall. That's not how that would have went down. The cops would have been like, no, we're going to wait for this fool to come out and we're going to catch him when he's out of the mall. We're going to follow him into the mall.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the type of extreme stuff that's in this movie. And that's what I was talking about when I said the creator of this movie had some crazy ideas that they wanted to see on film. And they knew some people who had some money that could pull it off, because just about everything that happened in this movie, I can't imagine it really happening in real life. You know, everything took me out of the movie.
Benny kind of tells him what he wants to hear, but he doesn't really explain what's going on. And
no.
Benny does, because later on, Benny shows he knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Basically, they're canceling Chevy's contract and hiring Ricky.
Right.
Now, what I don't understand is, did they want him? No, this has to be. They wanted him out of the game before he was supposed to pull off that Chinese job because of what happens at the end.
Now, this is the dumb part, Joe. So this cartel wants to get rid of him.
Yes.
He doesn't want to be a hitman anymore. Just let him go. Why do we even have to go through any of this?
He knows too much. No, they're never gonna. You think that?
He does know too much, but there's honor. I mean, he's not going to just go around he's not going to incriminate himself. He's not going to tell you what he's been doing and who he's been doing it with. Like, if he wanted to be out,
wrong.
Just let him go, and that's just it.
What I want to know is, do they ever explain why they want him gone?
No, they don't. If they did, I missed it. because I'm trying to figure
me
out all the
too.
stupid stuff that I see. So I didn't. I don't know why. No idea. If you guys listening, you guys know, please let us know.
He's got like this cross-dressing or transgender friend, and he's helping him out. But I'm telling you right now, it is not good to be friends with this guy because he ends up getting him killed later.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude was just minding his own business, smoking some reefer, getting a taco, and he's got him involved in all his BS. And like, yeah, he gets him killed later. I'm like, I would have been like, nah, man, you know what? I found the guy for you. Peace out. But he goes and he gets himself involved. He saves his ass. Like, what do you owe this guy anything that you just lost your life for? I was kind of wondering about that. What kind of friend are you? Not a very good one.
No, I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. That's even the part of the movie that I hated the most, though. You probably know what I'm thinking of.
Not the part in the park or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That shit was funny.
I knew you were going to like that part. I did not like it because it was stupid. It won't happen.
It was stupid, but I mean, you knew something like that was going to happen.
Let's keep going, man. Let's keep going.
So he gets in touch with his doctor, and the doctor tells him to get some epinephrine.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you know, he goes to a hospital. Mm-hmm. It goes to the pharmacy, and they can't just give you that. You got to have a prescription. Like they can't. And so, of course, some burnout weirdo at the pharmacy tells them nose spray. So
you know, when
he grabs a whole bunch of nose spray.
Yeah, but that guy was looking at him weird at the beginning. I thought that he might have been a hitman because he was just looking at him and he was looking at him real strange. But nothing ever came of that. He was just there just to tell him to get the nose spray.
Because you're just a burnout, man. He didn't care. He was trying to help my man out. He's like, bro wants to get high. I'll help him get high.
Yeah.
So he's walking around just doing all this nose spray, and until he can find some actual like epinephrine, which all it is what did they say? Fake adrenaline.
Yeah. But he does find it in the hospital. He gets it. He knocks over, some patient.
Well, he's
a gurney.
Yeah, but he also holds up like one of the doctors or the nurses for the epinephrine.
While the police are coming, the police are in the hallway also looking at all of this.
Well, the police were on him, but they couldn't do anything because he's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, you gotta think about it. You're a hitman, and you got nothing. You got nothing to lose. What do you care? What do you mean? What happens?
Well, he's getting this medicine, right?
Oh, he tells him to shock him.
Yes.
He tells him to shock him, and he flies into the elevator.
Stupid! If I didn't know better, man, I would have thought the Wayans brothers wrote this movie and they were trying to make fun of action movies. Because like some of the most ridiculous things were going on in this movie, and that was just a silly, stupid thing to happen. Like you don't see stuff like that in action movies.
His doctor told him to take a fifth of it, and he took the whole thing.
Yeah.
So he started having
after he gets shocked.
Yeah, after he gets shocked, he took it, and he's like on cloud 9, running the streets, and he's talking to his doctor.
Literally
Doctor's telling him,
streets. Literally.
Yeah, running the streets in a
hospital gown.
A hospital.
Yeah, hospital gown. Yeah.
Now the crazy thing is, this whole time he knocks out a couple of cops, takes a police bike, and he's just going around acting crazy. And he finally gets a call from his girlfriend that he's been trying to talk to, because Ricky is talking about going to mess up the girlfriend and kill her.
Mm-hmm.
And he just shows up like it's a typical day. Like, hey, babe, we got to go.
Right.
And she's just waking up. She don't know nothing about his life. So I guess at this point, he's trying to explain to her, but he wants to get her out of the house first.
Right.
While he's getting her out of the house, she's trying to stay in the house, and he's trying to get her out. and Ricky's people show up. So he's literally talking to her, and he's running off, throwing this guy in the pool, and taking this guy and beating him up. Like she has no idea what's going on.
Yeah, she has no idea. This is pretty much going on right in front of her, and she doesn't know.
Oh, and he killed Ricky's brother in the process.
Yes.
Cut off his hand.
Yeah.
And sent it back to how did he even send it back to him? I don't even know.
I didn't think he did that. I think he left that hand. I think somebody else.
Oh, someone brought it to him?
Yeah, I think somebody brought it to him. Yeah.
So, and this is the part Gene's talking about. So he's trying to explain to his girlfriend that he's a hitman. He's killed a bunch of people, and he wants out, and he wants to like go run away with her and spend the rest of his life with her. And of course, she thinks he's just full of it. She thinks he's full of crap. And he explains to her about the cocktail he took and how he's trying to stay alive. And literally in the middle of it, he just starts going. He starts coming down. And so his idea is basically for her to just, he says, make love. But basically it's bang it out so I can get my adrenaline up and bring me back to life.
That's right. Ladies
but this is in the middle of like a
that's
park.
Right. They are not in a house. It looked like they are in the middle of Chinatown is what it looked like because there's a bunch of Asian people standing around watching them.
Chinatown. She said it was Chinatown.
They were in Chinatown. Yeah. So they basically have sex outside in front of all of these Chinese people. Like they were like outside of a restaurant or something.
Here's what made it worse. Okay. At first, he's like forcing himself upon her. And she's like yelling and screaming.
Yeah.
And nobody's coming to help her.
Nobody's
coming to help her. She gets into it, but at first, like that part was bad. They should have just been like, okay, whatever. But I mean, that was bad. Yeah. But then to make matters worse, she gets into it and everyone's just sitting there watching. And then he gets a phone call from the doctor and he's like, okay, bitch, see you later. Like, he just told her, I'm quitting my line of work for you. I love you. Thanks for bringing me back to life. Have a good day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That killed me.
He gets a call from his boy. And he wants to meet him at that factory or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's when he ends up going to meet with him, which was really a setup. And that's what Verona was. But he had
she follows him.
Yeah.
She follows him.
Yeah. Yeah, she overheard him saying where he was going.
So she follows him, and now she knows he's not lying.
She should have been
now
there.
She's trying to.
She should have been there.
Should have. 100%.
Because there was nothing but gunshots coming in her direction, and I have no idea. She didn't even get scratched. How they missed her, I'll never know. That was ridiculous.
No, it was crazy. So, I mean, basically, the rest of this movie, he gets her somewhere safe. He goes, talks to his doctor. The doctor basically gives him something. He's like, dude, I just need an hour. I got to take care of stuff. And then I'll finish myself off.
Yeah, because the doctor told him there was no antidote. There's nothing you can do to get better.
Ricky acted like he had an antidote, but I guess he was lying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he sets him up with some kind of adrenaline drip or something. Mm-hmm. He goes and shows up, meets Ricky. And like I said, this is where I kind of was a little confused. So the guy he ended up not killing, the Chinese, I guess they must be competition for the cartel. Because Benny and Ricky show up. And Ricky's basically like, okay, his idea, here's the part that kills me. This is, you never saw it, so I can't even give you this analogy. But basically, y'all should have just shot this dude, okay? Why are you trying to kill him with some random cocktail? Should have just shot him.
Yeah, that didn't make sense, did it?
That's what I'm saying. Like this,
they could have ended it all right then and there.
Yeah. So instead of that, now you've given him a chance to show up. He's got his people. Now they kill all the cartel people, including Ricky. And then in the end, him and Ricky fall out of a chopper and he hits the ground.
No,
and
hold on.
And his eyes are open.
Hold on. Dude. He's falling out of the helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
He decides to take his phone off. Take his phone out and call his girlfriend as he's falling.
And leaves a message for her.
And he's leaving a message and he's talking to her as he's falling down. And then he lands on top of a car and then lands on the cement.
That's love, Gene. That's love. This is a love story.
Yeah, whatever, man. And I said, how can there be a part 2? Like, what is it, a prequel? Like, he fell out of a helicopter.
No, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you but they will explain it, and you'll see what happens. It's really crazy.
And unless that shot that he took in the neck at the beginning of the movie turned him into a mutant, there's nothing that's going to make sense to me.
No, I'm telling you, they will make sense of it. You'll see. It's interesting what they do, but the movie itself is insane.
Yeah, but as you said, man, at the beginning, did they ever explain how he was knocked out at the beginning of the movie?
No.
Yeah. We see him at the beginning of the movie. He just laid out in a bed, and we see Verona talking to the camera, which is what he's watching. But like you said, it would have just made sense for Verona if you have him in that position where he's unconscious. Why poke him in the neck with the syringe? You could just shot him in the head. None of this would happen.
The evil genius bad guys 101. They got these plans, and then the plans end up, killing them in the end.
Yeah. All
right. What's your grade? Because I already know what mine was.
I know I'm going to be in a minority overall. Like, I expect the main gang, they're probably going to hit me up and say they love this movie and it's great, this, that, and other. Hey, if that's your thing, if you love an action movie, then fine. That's fine. But I'm giving this a D. I did not. The only reason I can't give it an F.
That's better than what I thought.
Only reason I can't give it an F is because it wasn't as bad as Karate Christmas Miracle. That's the only reason why I can't give it an F. It wasn't that ridiculous.
No, I've always enjoyed this movie. I like a few things about it. There's a few things I don't. If they would have given me more fight scenes, I probably would have given a better grade. So I'm just going to go a solid B for me. I don't mind this movie. Like you said, a good action movie. A lot going on. With Jason Statham, there should just be more fighting. Especially it sets up fighting is going to bring your adrenaline up. You're a good fighter. Like, do some fighting, man. Stop screwing around and taking a bunch of drugs. Come on. Stupid.
Yeah, that's all he did throughout the whole movie.
I would have liked to see it. And I'm trying to think if the second one has more fighting, but it might not. But it is crazy. I remember the second one's just crazy.
You do know that this movie, out of all movies we've seen, this movie definitely would not be classified as a martial arts movie.
No, I agree.
And because we watched this movie, we have now given Angel ammunition to make sure that we watch the Rocky movies. Because there's nothing I can say now after watching this movie.
We've watched worse than this. It's fine.
No, I understand that, but I always said to Angel when it came to Rocky was not a martial arts movie, and this
because it's not.
But he's always going to have this. He's like, you guys watch Crank, which is definitely not a martial arts movie. So if you watch that, you can watch Rocky. So I have a feeling Rocky is going to be in our future at some point. So Angel will be happy. All right, man. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right, so we'll watch part 2 for next week, man. I hope part 2 is better than this one for me. I know you enjoyed it, but man, I'm not looking forward to watching part 2. So
I don't think it's all twisty like this. I think the next one's just straightforward anarchy.
Okay.
But it's been a minute.
All right, everybody. Stay safe, stay strong. We'll holler at you next week, and I will play our music.
Disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.